You. Thank you for coming. You must have not had anything to do this afternoon, so that's the reason you're here. But thank you for being here. Got quite a few compliments from last week's meetings. It was very short, and we got a lot of business done. So I'm going to ask you to keep your comments if you're going to speak to a bill. If you would keep those very short, we've got a real list of bills today, but we need to get these out because we have quite a few more over the next couple of weeks to deal with. So let's just bow one moment for prayer because we're going to need it. Father, we thank you for the day and thank you for loving us. We ask that you'd be in our presence, that everything we do would be pleasing to you. Bless our time together, and because all these things benefit the people that you created, and we ask that you do all things well. Lord, is in your name we pray. Amen. All right, we're going to start off, first of all, House Bill 119. Representative Kelly, would you share with us? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here with you today. This House Bill 119 is a measure that I've carried at the request of the juvenile court judges who are forced to be in the judicial retirement system, but who many have not had the opportunity, despite their previous service to our state and the contribution they made to the employees' retirement system, to have that service transfer over to JRS with them. I know y'all received the actuarial study, and there's $260,000 cost in that. I've had positive conversations from individuals on the second floor that if we should take action, that there'd be no problem covering that. And I know that Tracy Lawson is here with us today, and Tracy is a district attorney in Clayton County, but is a former juvenile court judge as well as an assistant district attorney. So I'd kind of like her to, if she could go and come up with me, Mr. Chairman, and let her kind of explain how this has impacted her and several, I think about 5 or 6 people who are really affected by this. And so we're just asking to be able to essentially change the date, as you see in the legislation, from 2002 to December 31st, 2018. So if I can, let Ms. Lawson.
Certainly. I think you shared with us something that was very, very important, that the second floor is inspired and supporting this. So, all right. Would you give your name and who
Yes.
you represent?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, my name is Tracy Graham Lawson. I'm the district attorney in Clayton County. However, prior to being elected as DA in 2008, I was a juvenile court judge. Prior to being a juvenile court judge, I was an assistant district attorney, and part of that time I was in ERS for almost 7 years. When I became a juvenile court judge a full judge in 99, you had to join JRS. I would have chosen to stay in my county retirement system because it was actually better, more lucrative, but I had to join. Well, when we joined, I wanted to buy back my ARS time, but even though we're in JRS and every other member of JRS can buy back their ERS time, juvenile court judges were somehow overlooked when initially it was enacted. So I thought, well, that's okay. I become DA. I can get it now. So I write to JRS and say, hey, dear JRS, I am now a DA, and I would like to buy back my ERS time. They said, no, you can't, because you didn't do it when you became a member of JRS. I said, well, I couldn't because you wouldn't let me. And they said, oh, well. So they realized the inequity of that, and the director I was dealing with then, who's no longer the director, said she would try to get legislation passed. It didn't pass that time. But we've tried several times, and I'm just earnestly begging y'all, there's like 5 of us it affects, to please allow us to do it. There's a new juvenile court judge who I've never personally met. He has 9 years, 9 months, so he didn't vest when he became in ERS when he became a juvenile court judge. So I don't know whether there's any questions.
Right.
That's Judge
Clow.
and I believe you'll have a letter from him.
Yes, we did. We did.
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, okay.
You did have it.
Should be included in
Okay, does the committee have any questions of the author? Okay. All right, go ahead,
For you or for me?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman Benton.
Either one of you. If you're just transferring money, in this case from employee retirement to the judicial retirement system, why is there a cost associated with that?
I would just have, what the actuarial.
I understand that, but it sounds like to me that that we're transferring more than what you've got money in the other one to do. Is that what's happening? If there's a cost of $200,000?
I'm going off the actuarial study,
All right.
so I would guess,
How about we ask
argue
that?
with your
Yeah,
logic.
we ask the expert right there.
Let's see. All right, go ahead, Jim.
If I may, the cost would not be to the judicial retirement system. So the way that the bill is set up, any money available would go toward an actuarially equivalent amount of service in the judicial retirement system. The cost is actually to the employee's retirement system. And the reason for that is there's money that was put into ERS by and on behalf of the participants that are in question. That money is currently projected to simply stay in the system with no benefit being paid out. They were not vested at the time that they terminated. Now we're actually going to take that money and move it out of the system, so that's an actuarial loss equivalent to the amount of the assets being moved out of ERS. So that's where the cost comes to ERS.
Is 1 year in ERS equal to 1 year in judicial retirement?
No.
What is the difference there? Can you tell me?
It's fairly significantly different, and it could be in either direction. So I assume you were a new plan, like a 2% plan member when you were in ERS. In the prior tier, the benefit was
It's been like 25 years.
2% times years of service times salary. In JRS, it's a different formula. It's much more lucrative for the first 16 years, and it's less lucrative thereafter. So it depends on what the total JRS service is in terms of how much is going to result in an increase in the JRS service by this transfer. It's basically a case-by-case.
So basically, we're taking money out of ERS that had she not, if we were not doing that, would never be used, by her.
That's right. It was intended to pay for a benefit. Since the benefit never vested, it was just going to remain.
Well, can she not pay, can she not withdraw what she's paid into it?
Because you didn't vest.
I
Yeah.
did,
But there are
I have to
also-
buy back in.
But there are
I have to
also
pay that back.
employer contributions.
I understand that, but she didn't put that in there.
The employer, no.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Excuse me. Chairman Meadows.
We're talking about 5 or 6 people, is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what Judge Teskey's informed me, sir. I'm the lone, most people are DA and then become a judge. I did it backwards. So I'm a lone wolf in that respect. But he told me there's up to 5 judges, but I'm not sure all 5 will even do it. And I know Judge Teskey and I are both past the 16 years, so I don't know that that'll have less of a financial effect or not. Sounds like it will.
Are they asking you to buy back into the plan, or are we asking just to transfer ERS money into the judiciary?
I will have to pay back any contributions they'll calculate, they did it for me once before.
How much was that?
Oh, gosh. It was back in actually, it's about 2002 I asked, and I really can't remember that far back, so.
Anybody?
It wasn't much, though. It was like $4,000 or $5,000 for me, I think.
There'll be some interest involved, so it'll be a higher number.
Right.
But
I anticipate that.
And then, but still under the actuarial study, it's $260,000 a year.
it's not about the employee contributions. That cost mostly comes from the transfer of the employer contributions that were originally going to be paid out of ERS.
In other words, state money.
Okay? Yes.
And I've got to do that for how many years?
Well, hopefully I'll live 30 past retirement.
We're talking about how long it costs.
That's my goal.
Yeah, the cost is going to run for 20 years under
It's a
the,
20-year amortization. That's correct.
So I could multiply 20 times $260,000. It'll help towards the state's
Let me
contribution.
take a quick look at the letter.
That's what it is.
All right, while he's looking for that, we'll come back to this. Chairman Maxwell, have you had a question?
Yes, sir. It's along those same lines. Now, I know we've dealt with this situation over 8 or 9, 10 years, seems like, in the retirement system here. I think, is this one a little different than what we've currently done? This one, instead of just transferring time from one system into the other, it looks like you're going to take the dollar amount that you have in the ERS and buy whatever time you can get in the judicial system.
Yes, sir.
It's not just taking 10 years that you might have and buying 10 years here. You're just gonna take whatever money you've got in ERS, and if that purchases you 3 years, 4 years, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not gonna be a year-for-year swap, is that correct?
And that's what they told, I remember that part about when they told me that back in like 2002.
And the other question I had was, like Chairman Meadows, it shows the total unfunded liability, I suppose, over the 20-year period of 1.3 million. Is that what it would come out over the complete period of time, getting him made whole?
Well, there's interest involved, right? So the total being paid back is more than 1.3 million. The immediate increase in the unfunded is 1.3 million, and then we're gonna amortize that over, I guess it's 20 years according to the
Yeah,
letter.
20 years ago, so, yeah. But y'all can take that hit.
As long as we get to 260,000.
As long as you get to 260. Now, that's still gotta be funded. That's a state appropriation.
Well, so y'all are required to fund it in the first year, and then we build it into the valuations going forward.
All right. Did that answer your question, Chairman Meadows?
Well, I'm sure.
Okay. Representative Wilkerson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I'm following. It's kind of on the same line. On the letter from Kavanaugh, am I on?
Cloud, yes.
Yes.
It mentions an estimated payroll of 2.6 billion. Is that? I mean, that seems like more than 5 people, I'm assuming, but that's the total of the ERS payroll. So they're estimating the liability to be 1.3 based on that. Okay, those 5 employees, or give or take.
Well, it's theoretically, I don't know that this would only impact the 5 people. I mean, I know there are 5 people that are similarly situated to Slauson, but I'm not certain if there are other people in the population that would ultimately benefit from this as well. Oh,
Down the road.
and down the road. That's right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Do we have any other questions? All right. Oh. Representative Beverly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The question I have is, why are you transferring 100% of the money if you don't know? 'Cause it sounds to me that you're transferring to $260,000 for 5 people, 10 people. Like, what is that particular number for? And why are you transferring all the money when it may only affect 1 or 2 people?
So basically, these studies are like mini valuations for specific questions. So the question on the table is, what is the potential liability available to the plan? We don't know what the actual experience is gonna be, but we make assumptions about it.
Chairman Maxwell.
Back again. So that's sort of worst case scenario. That's what the maximum amount you think would be, or?
I don't think, it's what needs to be paid. It's not necessarily the worst case scenario, it's the most likely
Most likely.
average scenario.
And Representative Kerry, have you talked to the budget office, you think you're gonna get the money put in the appropriations for this?
Yes,
If you know if it's not, you should get a bill anyway.
yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Buckner.
So the current cost Do we know what that is compared to what, do we know what the current cost is
The current cost
of the people that are in the plan now, the way that they are? You don't have a cost for them because they're not in that. And so for them to move into the plan that they want to be in is going to be the 260,000 for the 5 of them, not each one.
260 would cover the 5 of them plus whoever else is projected by the actuaries to have a probability of doing it.
And it'd be every year, the state would have to kick in that amount for the.
So you all are required to concurrently fund the first year separately, so there should be a $260,000 line item somewhere that will come to us directly. After that, we will build it into the actuarial valuations, and it'll just become part of the regular employee contribution.
The big pot. But in that big pot, it would still be roughly that amount of money, or I know it would be specific to the number of people, but it would still.
Liability will be, all I can say is the liability will be included in those calculations.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Anybody else have anything they'd like to share? All right, do we have a motion?
I move.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. And there's a second. All in favor of passing House Bill 119, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed, say aye. Okay, well, I guess you go back to the woodshed. Representative, maybe there's some things that needs to be worked on a little bit. I think there were some questions here that didn't get all the answers that they were looking for. So this fails for the lack of a majority. Yes, sir.
If it's appropriate, may I make a motion?
Yes, sir.
And I'll let you decide procedurally what's appropriate, but I'd like to move that we lay House Bill 119 on the table.
All right, have a motion to lay House Bill 119 on the table. Have a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Whoa, okay, I'm sorry. To lay it on the table. We have not had a vote. We had a second.
And if it's on the table, that means that
It can be,
the whip will have to ask for it to come off the table.
yes, yes.
All right.
Any other questions about the motion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, motion's carried. It's on the table.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay. This is not going like I had anticipated. Yes.
That's why I preface it with whatever procedures the chairman believes is appropriate. Thank you for my parliamentary. You're okay.
So what do we need to do?
They do this everything. They do this all the time. Yeah. What's the market today? No, it's that's not making up the 400 point loss. Did you say that?
Okay. Yes, we're going to come back to how we treat this. There's a question about whether or not this is, could be laid on the table, but we'll get the answer to that hopefully before we get out of here today. All right, let's move on. Praise God. Hallelujah. All right. We're going to be looking at House Bill 218. Chairman Wendell Willard. And this is the one that was actually Stacy's bill that he's going to be, Stacey Evans, and he's going to be presenting it.
That's right. She was the primary sponsor, Mr. Chairman, and I've, being number two, now have the distinct honor to bring this before you. We had a meeting back during the summer when there was a review of the bills, and I was not clear on some history about the bill. This is allowing those in the university system who had previously, currently under the what we call the option plan, which is more like a 401k plan, to make an election to go to the regular fixed pension plan. It is a one-time opportunity. It has never been given the opportunity because in the past, although the bill has come before this committee, I think a few times, it never has gone through the full process. Things have happened in the past that stopped it from going forward. It was on the floor, I know, in the House and voted, and then there was a approval of the bill, and then there was a reconsideration, and then the bill was tabled. So this is again coming back as a new process. I have with me today Steve Anthony. I'd ask, if I may, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Anthony, to come up and give you some more history and the purpose behind it. One of the things, come on up, Steve, please, sir, if that's all right, Mr. Chairman. One of the things that has been,
Yes, that's fine.
I think, the force behind this is a number of the professors have received in the past chances, opportunities to go to another system in another state, and were enticed because of the pension plans they have as opposed to being under what is now the current 401 type plan. So there has been a desire to allow this to be a one-time chance to make that decision where they previously made a decision that they feel that was not the appropriate decision for them, with the thought in mind, the means that will allow the state of Georgia to retain these professors and instructors. So I would like to
All right.
ask Mr. Anthony to talk
Yeah.
about it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. We met in May and went through this pretty thoroughly. Chairman Willard hit a couple of points that I would have pointed out. Because it has been around a long time, the bill actually has never made it through the General Assembly, has never made it through the full House. And I noticed the Senate bill that's up that kind of does the same thing. And also that this is a one-time election, no more bites at the apple. And it is a dollar for dollar, and the audit came back clean and showed that it would fund itself. And no matter how many years you had, if you were in it before, whatever money you have at your disposal to buy in would be what you bought in. If you were in 10 years and had enough to buy in 2, then you start fresh with 2 years in the system. And it will cover the cost of it, and the audit report backed that up and verified that. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad.
All right. We do have one question. Chairman Maxwell. I'm shocked, but Chairman Maxwell.
Thank you for being here, sir, and I appreciate
Yes,
the
sir.
explanation.
Yes.
I believe this is the first time we've had this bill presented in this matter, because I've been on this committee 14 years or more, and it's come in, it was a year for year, trying to do a year for year transfer, and I've had 3 calls from a university system, or 3 emails, and I've told the folks, here's my number to call, or I'll call you. I don't think a lot of the members understand, because the gentleman I've explained this to, I don't believe their understanding was what you explained, that they've got $1 million sitting in ORP and it's gonna buy them 3 years in TRS. That's all they're gonna get. And you just made that same comment.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure that's
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to clarify something. You and I have been together a good while.
30 years.
You remember when Louise was here, maybe?
Yes, yes, sir.
And saying this hasn't happened before, I would like to, I remember her statement. They were in TRS, and they had the opportunity to go into the other, and I remember Louise McBee saying, don't ask us to come back. This is it once and for all. I just want to clarify. I mean, I'm for the bill, but is that not
I was
correct?
not in the room when she
Yeah.
said that, but reputable people like yourself have told me that, and I totally believe it. Yes, sir.
But, so I mean,
Yes, sir.
they have had opportunity. They were in this, and the stock market was just blowing it away. And they said they could make more there. They were transferable. And I see a friend of mine sitting over there that knows this is true. And then we said, don't ask us to come back. And then when everything, but that's, I just wanted to clarify that. I don't have any problem with
Yes,
that.
thank you. And I would add to that that initially, when this was created for this group of beneficiaries, the TRS board set the state contribution, and then it got moved to BOR, and it's dropped significantly, and that's one of the things. So, yes.
Okay, Chairman Benton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was here, I think it was 12 years ago that there was an attempt to do this, and we knew about I don't understand why we keep turning you down and you keep coming back. Are you hoping for a different committee?
I don't know. Hard-headed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, you know, the finances don't change, so I guess that's what it is. Actually, the numbers keep dwindling in terms of people that would go into the system.
All right, do you have any other questions? All right, any other questions? Anyone else to speak to it? Do I have a motion? Well, no motion. All right, it fails for lack of a motion. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Chairman, we'll just stay where you are. And, hopefully.
What did I tell you, Mr. Beverly?
Chairman, would.
Oh, show him respect here. Tough crowd, I tell you, tough.
Chairman, Willard, would you share with us House Bill 538?
Yes, sir. What we have is a unusual situation that the Fulton County Board of Education retirement plan is under a state general bill. And every time we've had something to come up about the retirement plan, it's come back through the legislature as a need to have this body make an amendment to it. I don't know of any other local school boards that have this, but just because the time it was set up back in the 30s, I believe, that was the only way they knew to do it. So it has survived all these years under this umbrella of the state legislature making whatever amendments, although it be done with the local delegation saying, yes, do it or don't do it. Now, what we're saying is we think it's appropriate to have this retirement plan really put into the hands of the local school board like all the others are in the state as far as if you have a county retirement plan. Gwinnett County has a retirement plan. City of Atlanta has a retirement plan. I go through a number of counties, Gwinnett County, Cobb County. They all have their own retirement plans. Fulton has one, but it's through this umbrella of the legislature. And the delegation of Fulton County is happy to go ahead and let the matter be as a plan taken over from what we have now as a plan, the state bill, to being a local plan by the school board of Fulton County. But we did put in here, remember the committee, that the fact that if there's ever a change of the benefits of the plan, it's got to be disclosed and brought to the attention of the delegation of Fulton County members, House and Senate, and they can change that or stop it if they wish to. So we sort of have a veto power over any attempt that may be to make a substantial financial commitment that we don't think is appropriate. But I do feel it's appropriate to go ahead and let, like all other school plans, that if a county has one or a city does, be managed as it should be and under the auspices of the local school board. So with that, I'd be glad to take any questions about it. Doesn't change anything about benefits. All the same benefits continue.
All right, do we have any questions? We have no questions. Anyone want to speak to this?
Is anybody else here from the school board today or school system?
Over here? Are you for this or
You
against
don't need
it?
to, you don't need to speak
come.
unless you want to. I think she wants to speak, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Greta Tenaglia. I am the Executive Director for Accounting and Retirement Services for the school district. And just a little bit of background, this plan is our plan for our non-instructional personnel, meaning our bus drivers and cafeteria workers and school nutrition workers. So the majority of our teachers are under TRS. Just a little bit of background.
Thank you. Glad you clarified that. I didn't realize
All right, thank you. Chairman Maxwell. Is that you?
Yes, that's me. That's my phone, that's me. The employer contribution rate, 39.5%, that's higher than what we're doing on anything else. Is that?
That's what's currently the contributions.
Wow. Mr. Chairman, at the appropriate time, I'll make a motion.
All right, I thought you was probably wanting to change plans. All right, we have another question. Representative Beverly? Okay, he's waiving that, so this is the appropriate time. We have a motion and second. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. And like sign. Do you need to say something?
I'm still in the major leagues, right? Batting 500.
Well, that's not bad, and the other one was not even your bill originally. Okay, all right, thank you, it's passed. All right, we're letting too many house secrets out. We have a senator here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the privilege of going down, and it's last in your packet. It's Senate Bill 101, and we're going to have our fine senator to come and share with us this great news that you bring. I hope.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, but I am a little nervous to present it, seeing how things have gone so far. But, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I bring before you Senate Bill 101, and it allows members who were temporary full-time employees under the Georgia Defined Contribution Plan to transfer that time over to the employee retirement system. Now, in order to do that, there's some things that they would have to do, and those are spelled out for you on lines 43 through 52 of the bill. They have to accrue 2 years of membership in the employee retirement system. They have to apply to the Board of Trustees. They had to provide proof of the prior service in the Georgia Defined Contribution Plan. They have to authorize transfer of all of those funds over to the plan. And then they have to pay to the employee system the full actuarial cost of being in that plan for the time that they're transferring over. And one unique thing about this bill is that usually when this is done, it calls for a one-time payment. But this gives the employee the opportunity to make it over time, either in 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, or in over 120 months. And this will not cause the state to incur any cost for this. I'd originally filed this bill for some members of the DNR who had didn't have the opportunity to work in the employee retirement system, but were under that old plan. And it was not something that they had any choice in the matter. They did not elect to go into the qualified plan. But then there was some interest from some members in the House in expanding this, and so we did and worked with those members, and so this is the essence of the bill.
Thank you very much. Do we have anyone out here that would like to speak to it? Moving very quickly over to the committee. Anyone would like to speak to this? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Ligon, on line 43, you've got to accrue at least 2 years of membership in this retirement system.
Yes, sir.
Want to know if you would be amenable to a friendly amendment to go to 5 years?
That would be, I don't have any objection to it.
Okay.
That would be.
One other question. Where did your number 2 come from?
Sir?
Where did your 2 come from?
2 years?
Mhm.
You might be able to.
So 2 is a common time frame that we would use for other types of service purchases, particularly like a refund buyback. If you leave and you come back into the system, we're not going to let you do a buyback right away, but once you've established 2 years of service in the system, we would let you do a refund buyback. We were just kind of paralleling that with the 2 years here.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, whenever there's a chance, I'd like to offer my amendment, and we'll see.
All right. Before we go to that, I'm going to ask Chairman Maxwell. I'm shocked that you have a question.
I'm afraid you would be, Mr. Chairman. Senator, and I don't know if you can answer this, but these people, are they going to be basically long-term employees from anything? They've been around for a good while. Are they going to be going back? I mean, this is going to travel back a number of years from the vice service a number of years ago. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. They'll. My understanding is that they'll be employees for a while, and I believe they had to be employed. Right. Well, but I think they're. I don't know that they're part-timers. They were what they were called temporary full-time employees. They worked full-time, but they were on a temporary basis. Yes, sir.
So I'd say is there are a number of employees with the state who begin their careers in sort of a temporary type of a position, and maybe that later gets converted to a full-time, and at that point they become members of the ERS. This just gives them an opportunity to say, you know, I was really kind of in the same job, same career all along. Can I buy into that service that I had prior that otherwise didn't qualify?
And they pay full actual real just like everybody else, and they got to pay their interest and full. That's right. Employee portion and all that. So that's right.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, sir.
All right. We're going to go back to the amendment. I think that's being offered by Chairman Benton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On line 43 and any other place that the word 2 is used, 2 years of membership, I'd like to offer the amendment to change 2 to 5.
All right, we have a motion to amend line 43 and any other place where 2 years might be mentioned to 5. Do we have a motion to pass? I'm sorry, you did make the motion. We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. Okay, the amendment, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. That was too close. All in favor, let me know by raising your hand. Five. Okay. Those no, would you please raise your hand? Huh, it's a tie. Well, okay, I will break the tie, and I'm going to go with the 5 years. I'm going to vote yes on changing that to 5 years from 2. So now we're on to the bill itself. Is House Bill 538. I'm sorry, Senate Bill 101 as amended. We have a motion to. We have a motion and have a second. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. All right. In opposition? All right. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. All right. We have two more bills, and they're coming from one of the most qualified individuals that we have here to offer us. So, Chair. Well, you've been looking at him for a long time. Okay, all right. All right, we're going to hear first of all, House Bill 588 from Chairman Maxwell.
Y'all are tough act today. Can we postpone these to a day y'all feeling a little better? That we are not transferring employees. We're not moving anybody from one system to another. So you can get that out of your mind. On 588, this bill, it's really, well, I'm not going to say it's simple. This is not that simple. What this bill is going to allow is for members that have money in Peach State reserves, their 401 or the 405 or 457 plans, to purchase a supplemental guaranteed income annuity. It's going to increase their monthly lifetime retirement income from the ERS plans. This is a tool for retirees to convert their PSR balances into an income stream that is going to be guaranteed for their lifetime and even possibly a beneficiary's lifetime. And that's not possible under our current retirement plan for these employees. It's going to affect mostly the new GSEP employees, the ones that are putting their money in the 401. Hopefully they're putting in their 5%, and we changed that a few years ago so it would come in at 5% and they'd get to 3% matching. When they retire, that money is going to be sitting in the 401, and they're going to have to decide how to handle it. What this plan right here is going to do is these plan members, when they retire, they may elect to use this PSR, Peach State Reserve money, and it's going to be a minimum of $25,000 to purchase an annuity in their pension plan. The retirees, if they've got service or disability retire with at least 10 years of credible service, they can purchase within the window there. Members got to reach retirement age of 70. If a member retires after age 70, the purchase can be made between the member's retiree date and the end of the calendar year. They can purchase up to 2 separate purchases within the window. It's going to allow them to do something that's not currently available. The benefits, they've got a longevity risk. Those of us that are getting into retirement age, I sold a business last year. I call my little financial advisor about every 3 weeks after I sold last year, talking to him. And I said, you know, am I going to be all right? I said, this is just scaring the devil out of me. I said, you know, is this going to be okay? You know, you just, when you sell something, when you get out of, after working 40 years with Allstate, I'm still not over it. I'm still not sure he's not lying to me. But I hope he's telling me the truth, because I hope, my mother's 88 and she just retired at the end of December. Yeah. I retired at 68 and I said, Mom, I can't hang with you anymore. I said, maybe you wore me out. But the longevity risk, the people living longer than their money, this would help save that. They would have a guaranteed income for the rest of their life. Investment risk, if they keep the money in their 401, that's the thing that bothers me now. The stock market is on a real climb, but what's going to happen when it tanks? Am I going to be smart enough to get my money out before it goes back down, or spend it all? I told my grandkids I'm trying as hard as I can to spend it before you get there. Lack of investment knowledge, if they leave the money in the 401k, poor decision making, we've seen that happen all the time. Insurance market risk, a retiree who's decided to annuitize some of their planned amount, they have no option other than going to a private insurer. They got to take all their money out, go out and buy an annuity in a private market, and that's going to be very costly to pay for an annuity under the private market, where our plan can do it at a much lower cost, a lower profit margin, lower premiums, and lower fees. So that's what we're trying to do for our GSEP employees, and that's what this bill attempts to do. If you got any questions, if I've drove this thing in the ditch, I've got Jim over here and Kelly to help me get out of it. But that's basically the bill.
All Do we have any questions from the committee? Do everyone want to speak? All right, do we have a motion? Oh, I don't see a light. It's not, okay, I'm sorry. Chairman, yes, what,
Oh, hey, no, it's not.
yes, I
You're
can hear
good.
you, I can hear you.
You're good.
The annuity inside the plan,
Yes, sir.
who is the funder of that annuity? Like an annuity out here on the streets by an insurance company, are we going to do the annuity inside the?
ERS,
Yeah, thank you.
Jim, I think that's what we're gonna do.
Right, so the cost of the annuity will be paid by the member, and the money will reside within the pension trust of ERS and be converted from there to out of the pension trust.
So, but we're paying inside the ERS plan.
Part of the ERS plan.
I mean, so there's not I'm not going to go out here and say, hey, it's Metropolitan Life's annuity. It's the ERS annuity. Pretty good.
All right, Chairman Coleman?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, it's for the ERS employees, it's for legislators and all those programs that are 457 that's in them.
I think anybody that's in the 457 with
With the state.
$25,000 can, oh, it's ERS, this is ERS only, sorry.
The ERS only.
The ERS only.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Buckner?
So does this have a potential to help the ERS plan become a little more healthy, so at some point we could pay out more regular COLAs?
Well,
It is not an express goal of this to benefit the ERS plan. The ideal circumstance would be a break-even circumstance where the money that gets put in by the members collectively ultimately gets paid out to them in the form of their annuities. Like any other pot of money, if the investment markets do well, there will be a gain to the plan. Yes, that would benefit our plan. It could potentially work the other way, but we have built in a little bit of a layer of protection to protect against the downside risk. When we do the conversion calculation, there's a little risk premium that we're essentially asking the members to pay to build that little bit of a cushion in. So the answer is theoretically yes, but that's not the goal.
Thank you.
all right, any other questions? Have a motion? Have a motion, second? Second. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Any opposition, like sign, motion's carried. While you're on a roll there, House Bill 692.
Okay, this is also, it's not a transfer plan. This is brought on behalf of the Georgia Municipal Association. And this bill would allow local governments to pay the administrative cost of their deferred comp plans. Right now, they have to go through, and each employee is responsible for paying a portion of their administrative cost of their deferred compensation plans. That's not how it's done in most systems. The system itself will pick up that cost. It also allows the local governments to automatically enroll employees in the deferred compensation plans as long as they comply with all federal laws and regulations concerning automatic enrollment, including giving employees notice and allowing them to opt out. We're trying to get more employees, encourage more local government employees to invest in their retirement saving plans. Automatic enrollment allows the employee contributions to start with the employee's first paycheck. And we all know, and I did this with my son 17 years ago when he got out of college and went to work, and he called me and said, Dad, I got all these forms I got to fill out. What do I need to do? I said, well, you got to buy your insurance. And I asked what kind of retirement you got. Do they have a matching plan? He said, yeah, they do. I said, well, whatever you can put in to get the maximum match, do it. I said, do it before you draw your first check, and you'll never miss it. And that was 17 years ago, and he's still putting in. So this is going to encourage that, because we know, and that's what we changed with our GSEPS employees a few years ago, went from the 1% automatically enrollment up to 5%, because if they enroll at 5% and then start getting their checks, they don't think about reducing it. But if they come in at 1% and then they think about going up to 5% and seeing that 4% reduction, that's harder to swallow.
So studies show that roughly 85 to 90% of the employees who are automatically enrolled in one of these plans continued their plans towards retirement. So that's what we're trying to do with the local governments. Same thing we've done with our GSEP employees, basically. Allowing them to opt in at the front end, they can opt out. So basically that's what this legislation is going to do for the Georgia Municipal Association. And I've got Charlotte, and okay, Jim here, if we got a problem on that. Okay. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Or do you have anyone to speak for the bill? You have a motion. Motion to pass. Have a motion and second. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Any opposition, like sign. HB 692 has passed.
Well, thank y'all. This hopefully will be the last bills I'll bring before you. 26 in the wake up.
Well, okay, we have one other item that we've got to correct, because the motion on the very first bill that we heard, which was House Bill 119, the motion was out of order. What we are asking for is, do we wish to make a motion to reconsider House Bill 119? Have a motion and a second. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Any opposition? All right, motion is carried. Now we need to entertain a motion of placing it on the table. All right, motion to table. Let me know second. And a second. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, so it is on the table. Thank you, and we've got that resolved. Okay, I'm sorry, Representative Bentley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to ask a basic question regarding Chairman Maxwell, House Bill, I guess it was 588. The question that Representative Buckner asked and the applause that we received from the audience. I'm just curious to know how apparently the audience is really wanting something different. So how do we get to that point to help the current retirees get to what they really need? So maybe there needs to be more discussion or another piece of legislation to address that issue.
There's no question that it's evident people want to raise, but we need to do that for another time, and we'll have a conversation and maybe some questions and answers a little bit later on in the session. All right, if there's no other business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.